So, first question, are you concerned about climate change, and if so, why?
I'm extremely worried about climate change for multiple reasons. One, because I have 3 younger siblings that are going to be growing up in this world. And life has a lot of different variables, and I might not be here tomorrow, but my siblings most likely will be. And I should probably be more concerned about myself too, but whatever I leave and whatever the generation before myself leaves, that's what my siblings have to work with and their kids. So, and also it's just not exactly good for a lot of the environment and a lot of the people in it and animals, and look around, our trees and stuff, we have a lot of our life that's going to be going to hell pretty much. Excuse my language, but
yeah,
true.
Point taken. So you kind of spoke on this. So what would you say is the cost of climate change for future generations?
Well, honestly, as I said just a minute ago, for my siblings alone, that's just 3 of the many people that are going to be here. They're not going to have as green a grass as I did growing up. The air is not as clean, and it's isn't going to be. It already isn't as clean. Now, I can't tell you any statistics, but if you look around, you can see the noticeable difference. Water's rising. You see our foods starting to get less. Animals are starting to reproduce less. Animals are going extinct. Humans are the most destructive creature and being that's ever been on this planet. So it's our fault. So we deserve to kind of deal with the consequences, but it doesn't make me any less worried.
So what do you think? What do you think policymakers can do, and Vermont lawmakers could do to help some of these issues that you've been talking about?
As far as politics go, I can't really give any specific reasons or ways that they could actually make it work better. But I believe that communication is key, and as humans, we can communicate. And if we step out of the roles that we choose to play and actually just work together, and we think as a single brain rather than as multiple people trying to be better and trying to work for our individual goals, we could come together and we could build something beautiful and or repair what we've broken. And it just takes a little bit of work, and we're willing to put the work in for the wrong things, like war. Maybe that's just me, but I feel it really is just what matters to you is what you got to go for.
So, last question is, so there's going to be people at home watching this video.
Yeah.
Do you have a call to action for, just the normal person, what can they do to help some of these issues? What should they be doing?
On a day-to-day basis, we as people walk through the world, and every single day we see something that we disagree with. Every single day we have a choice where we can say, oh, there's some trash on the ground, oh, it's litter, someone else will pick it up, or we can choose to pick it up. And it may sound pretty minuscule, but picking up trash that's on the side of your road, you're walking down the street, you see somebody throw something out of their window, and you expect them not to do anything. So you go and do it, and you pick it up, but without teaching them, they're not going to notice. It's just going to continue to be a habit, and then it's just going to become a bad habit that's going to grow, and then next thing you know, if they have kids, that might even be bestowed. You can only control your own actions, but really, it's the small things. There's a lot of us, so the small things do add up, and that's the thing. We gotta work together. That's the number one thing that I think that an average person can do is just look at their person next to them and say, hey, we can actually do something great, and take the actions to do it.
So, are you concerned about climate change, and if so, why?
I am concerned about climate change. I think it really does, you can see the effects everywhere, just right now, it shouldn't have been winter until now, or then it was 70 degrees and 80 degrees, and so, yeah.
So, what do you think is the cost of climate change for future generations?
I think the cost of climate change is kind of the beauty, I guess, of nature. Maybe they can't experience all full the seasons, or it won't be too cold or too hot, or it will be too hot or too cold.
So, what do you think policymakers or lawmakers here in Vermont could do to help with some of these issues?
I've heard things about carbon tax. I've heard some stuff about making school buses and public buses electric. I thought those are really good ideas. There's really good ideas on regulating toxins and stuff that goes into our water and into our environment and into our air. I think those are really effective.
So do you think, would you be in support of a Vermont climate or carbon tax?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's sensible.
Cool. So, last question is for people that are at home that are going to be watching this. Do you have a call to action for those people? Something that they should do to help some of these issues?
I mean, just stay involved and stay informed to kind of hear what is happening, and just being here in this day and kind of like showing our support, I think, is a really big thing.
So my name's Jacob Nelson, and I'm a senior at Green Mountain College in Pulteney, Vermont. And my vision of an energy future, should I go there, or you can ask me?
So are you concerned about climate change, and if so, why?
I'm very concerned about climate change. It's, in my mind, it's the defining thing that's happening in our geologic age. And it's going to be one of the bigger determinants of who lives and who dies on this planet, and quality of life in general as things are moving forward. And that's, that's everywhere, but it also includes Vermont. I think a lot of people think maybe we're not, we're somehow safe from it. Sea level rise is not a problem, but there's going to be huge economic shifts and huge ecological shifts that happen throughout this state. I think it's important that people are aware of that and how that might affect things. So yeah.
What is your ideal energy future?
My ideal energy future doesn't have fossil fuels in it, first of all. And I think it's really a future where energy comes from the people, and it's no longer something that we are just consumers of, but we are also producers of. And so I see a lot of distributed solar, and I see wind also playing a part. I know that's controversial in Vermont. And I really see a lot of it having to do with people just understanding how much energy we're using, and being able to tone that down a little bit and bring that back, and really only use what we need. So I think efficiency and behavior change are a big part of that, because the cleanest energy is the energy we don't use. So that's my vision.
Right there with you.
Yeah, cool.
So some say we have an economic opportunity in climate action. So what does that mean to you?
An economic opportunity in climate action? Well, I guess, so I'm graduating college right now, and I'm graduating with a degree in renewable energy and ecological design. And I don't think I would have a field if it weren't for climate change. And so that's the tiny silver lining, is that there's a lot of opportunity for people to really reimagine what sort of systems are going to be sustainable on this planet, and to reimagine the kind of economies that we want. Because it's clear that the economic models we're using for energy and we're using for environmental conservation right now are not working. So we need to go back to the drawing board, and that's a huge chance to redefine the scale of economies we're going to have, local versus global, and to redefine, I guess, really just how we govern ourselves when it comes to economies. So that's kind of a broad answer.
One last question.
Sure.
What's your call for people watching this video? What would you ask them?
My call for people watching this video. Wow. My call would be just to show up for things like this. I mean, I'm a college student, and I'm proud of the people that came with me today here to be part of this, but it wasn't as many people as could have come. And I think there's a lot of, in our generation, support for these types of issues, and a little bit less just showing up and putting your body there and putting your mind there and learning and standing up for things. So my call would just be really to show up and just take that step and follow what you believe in. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I am concerned about climate change and the impact that it has on everyone, and because of the environmental disasters and stuff like storms and hurricanes, it can affect anyone, and I'm concerned for myself because I'm not really prepared, and it's going to take a while to change.
So, what do you think is the ultimate cost of climate change?
I think the ultimate cost is global in the environmental aspect, in that so for animals, plants and animals, it's going to be bad, like less biodiversity, which is bad, and it means life on Earth, I guess, is less stable. And also, economically, it's going to cost a lot to keep repairing things when they keep going badly if we don't. And I don't think we'll be able to have an infrastructure strong enough to withstand everything.
So, what actions do you think governments could take to help mitigate some of these issues that you're talking about?
I don't think we can replace the energy, or I don't think we can stop using energy. So I definitely think that what government should do is start subsidizing renewable energies, or at least putting more money and effort into replacing the existing infrastructure that we have with renewable energy systems.
So kind of in that vein, what does your ideal energy future look like?
Ideally, it's I would say it's pretty similar to the lifestyle that to the lives we have now, with different lifestyles. That's because, I don't know, I like the world how it is for the most part. So ideally I'd like it like, instead of a gas car, electric cars, but you still drive to work and back.
So last question, do you have a call to action for people that are going to be watching this video at home? What do you have to say to them for what they should do?
I think you should educate yourself. The more you know, the more you'll be able to see when people have an ulterior motive, and it's important for yourself to just know more.
All right, so are you concerned about about climate change, and if so, why?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. It's just there's like so much climate change and global warming, and it's awful for our planet.
I mean, in the time we've been alive, we've seen so much change, and it's accelerating. It's going to keep happening if we can't do something to stop it. So,
what do you think is the cost of climate change, and who's going to pay the cost?
I think we're the cause of it, definitely, and we're the ones that have to fix it. It's our problem, and we need to be the ones to change it.
unfortunately, it probably won't be us that pays the true price of it. It's going to be the people that come after us, our children, our grandchildren, because it's moving fast, but it's not moving fast enough that in our lifetimes it'll have the impact that we're predicting.
Great answer. So a 2016 report indicates that without action on climate change, the millennial generation, our generation, yourself potentially paying the cost of climate change now or in the future? Or do you see yourself paying it now or in the future?
I mean, I think it will definitely have an effect on us now. I mean, with the climate changing, our environment's going to be changing. Policy needs to be changing because of it, so I hope that has an impact on our lives.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So how do you envision our energy sources changing in the future?
I mean, we're from Vermont, so we're pretty progressive in this, but solar, wind power, I mean, we've seen entire towns moving towards solar and wind power recently, and I think that's just starting a movement, and everyone needs to be following it. Businesses need to start looking eco-friendly as opposed to cost-friendly.
Yeah, just driving around here, you see these huge solar fields, and it's like you know that the area around there is just doing so many great things with this power, and people are making a lot of progress with this, but we do need to make a lot more.
What does your ideal energy future look like?
Eco-friendly. People are aware of the energy they use and try to reduce it, but do the best they can to use green energy and support the companies and the businesses that support clean energy.
Yeah, just as she said, green energy. We really need to look out for our environment and just make sure that we're doing the best that we can to help it and use it how we should.
What do you think about putting a price on carbon pollution so that the price of fossil fuels reflects the true cost?
I support it. I mean, I'm not quite driving yet, but I definitely would be willing to pay that once I get a car and start putting gas in it.
With how many people that are driving, for each individual person, it's not going to be a huge amount, a huge change in price. And I'm, as a driver, I'm willing to pay that price to help the environment.
Do you drive to school? How far is yours?
So I do drive to school, and it's probably a 5 or 10 minute drive.
So the governor of Vermont, Phil Scott, says that climate change itself could be an economic boom for Vermont. Does that make sense to you?
Climate change, like the climate itself changing, or us in response to the changing climate?
Climate action. So our response. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Vermont as a state has kind of gotten a step up on others because of it, and to lead motions like that, I think it could help economically, but I don't think that's what really matters when it comes to the green environment and saving our planet.
So some say we have an economic opportunity in climate action. What do you think is meant by that?
I mean, with climate action becoming more popular and it picking up and people moving towards it, there's industries that are going to grow in that, like solar, wind-powered, recycling, things like that. And I feel like those are the industries that are going to advance economically.
So what would you ask adults in any leadership positions to do to ensure that you have a healthy and secure future?
You start that one, I want to think. Can you repeat the question?
So what would you ask of any adults in like leadership positions for your energy future and your security?
I mean, well, first I'd ask them to think about the future, like think about their grandkids and their grandkids' kids, and just like what do you want for them, and then like use that image to like fuel themselves to like come up with new ideas and to just do more for the environment and everyone that's living in it.
Kind of put their pride in the back pocket and do it for the people around you, not for yourself.
That's a good statement. So what is your call to action for people watching this video? What would you ask of them?
Just be aware of what you're doing with your environment. The earth is ours to save and it's ours to ruin, and we should be saving it.
Yeah, it's our life. This is our earth, our home. We're the ones that caused this problem, and we need to be the ones to do something to fix it.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Awesome responses.